Greetings. This is Arvette McLean with Speak, The Universe Listens. New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you.
So, yeah, I was talking to a friend and we was talking about like taking trips. Like it's their birthday and then mine is like after that and then it's like something in between. And so they're like, all these trips, it's like we got to choose or pick which one out of the three or whatever that we want to go. And I'm like, yeah, that is a lot of, in a bunched up time. And then it made me think, like, hold on, why does it have to, like, why is the first mind state is to be like this or that? It's like, it made me think, like, what's stopping us from doing all of this? Like, nothing's stopping us from doing all of this but us saying, oh, it's too much, or we can't do all of this in this short amount of time. So that just had me thinking of, a lot of times we be in the mindset of, it's either this or that, when it really should be, we could do all of this or whatever we desire. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, see, I like that too because I get to that feeling so often. Like, I have to catch myself in like the this or that phase because like I look at something and go, all right, I want to eat here, but I also need to do this, and it's like, all right, well, I ain't gonna have time to do that, and it's like, why don't I have time? It's a mindset thing. I do think it is very interesting that it's almost like we cut ourselves off from any opportunities or like different possibilities before we even really think about it. Like the first thought is nope.
And I think a lot of times when we gotta pick and choose what we want to do, it's like you automatically in a state of lack because you feel like you lacking something to where you can't do both. And it's like, nah, the only thing that's stopping us from doing both is we saying, hey, we can't do both. And so I feel like a lot of times, just from the conversation of doing something, we already not gonna do it because we already said, hey, this is too much, we can't do it.
Right. I've been there plenty of times. I sit back and tell myself, I can't travel here because I gotta work, or or I have to pay bills, or I can't do this because I don't have the means or funds to do so. And I remember like when I realized that I can do anything. It's just that I'm telling myself I can't do it. So who is there to say I can't do or have the things that I want besides me? And I realized that I said, well, since I know that, I'm aware now. Now I'm a little bit more aware of when I get myself in that mindset, and I might slip up and say, dang, I can't do this, and I just be like, hold on. Let me rephrase that.
It's funny because now I do this with people, like they'll come and be like, yeah, I just got so much going on, I can't do this and that, and I'm like, and they'll be like saying they can't do something, and I'm like, you can't, because you already sitting here saying that you can't. So I'm like, yeah, you're right, you can't, because you already saying that, and that just reminds them like, oh, I am saying already that I'm not going to be able to do it. So therefore, most likely, you're not going to do it. Because your mind is already focused on what you don't want to happen. And that's all the mind is on. But instead of coming at it like, okay, I'm going to do this. And my mind is and focus is on doing this instead of what you don't want.
And see, with that right there, when people tell me, what they can't do, I'm like, well, why you can't do it? I start asking questions. It's like, well, you know, I'm more like, I want to find a solution as to how you can make this happen for yourself. Well, I can't go here because my car broke down. Did you ask somebody for a ride? You know, hey, I don't have no money to pay my bills, so we can't go out tonight. Well, how you know? Did you ask somebody? Did you know I'm able to give it to you? You know, so I'm always trying to get people to see, like, piggybacking off what you're saying, but see both sides of the spectrum. Like, hey, you can have it, you know, but let's sort of find a solution to it. Let's get out of the mindset of thinking that you can't have, you know, get out of the lack, and let's focus on how, the how to. How can we get these things for ourselves? So,
And you said the how. I don't even feel like you have to focus on how.
right.
It's just like, let's just focus on what I do want, and let me put my energy around that instead of, okay, I know I can't do this, or I feel like I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. It's like, you don't have to worry about how.
Right.
Let's worry about what you do want. Let's start there and just put all our attention on that.
This topic reminds me of a story. I feel like I might have shared with y'all before. I remember when LJ got into a car accident, and it was like, all right, and he was trying to plan a trip as well. So it was like, all right, I gotta get a new car, and I gotta plan this trip. And so the minute his car first got in the accident, it was, oh, I can't go on the trip now. I can't do this. I can't do that. And I remember I was like, all right, I'm not even gonna ask you to do like what some people call the challenge part is putting your mind on what you do. And I was like, I just need you to not even think about the negative. Like, you just live your life and don't think about the negative, and I'll pour the positive energy there, and I'm gonna show you that this will work. And so when I did it, I was like, every day I was just always thinking like, yeah, you're gonna have so much fun on this trip, about to get a new car, everything gonna be fine. And everything worked out perfectly. And like, I remember him, this happened just the other day actually, he was sitting there talking to me, he was like, that was one of those things for him that, like, it just randomly sticks out for him, like, man, cause he was just so, I don't wanna say defeated, but like, it was like, dang, like, ain't no way this gonna happen. But I just had this, like, I just knew, like, no, it's all gonna work. And it ain't gonna be from me giving you no lump sum of money that's gonna make this work either. But it's gonna work. So I think it is definitely always, it's never a this or that. It's put your mind on doing both. And one other quick story, I remember the first time that I had to get to that feeling was, we were traveling for the first time, one of the first times. And we were going to Miami, but the issue was I wasn't working. Nor like did I really have intentions on working, because the idea of like driving to Richmond to do a couple hours and then driving back to save money was just never making sense to me. So we kept planning this trip, and I never had any idea how I'm paying for anything. Like, just when it was time for things to be due, the money was just always there, and it was like always like I never felt like I needed to choose. Do I have to work? Or do I need to focus fully on school, and can I still go on the trip and be a good student and also do this? It was just, you want to go on the trip, feel like you want to go on the trip, put your mind on that. Also put your mind on your studies, and both will flourish.
I think this conversation kind of reminds me of like when you're a kid, and basically they're always like, where you want to be when you grow up. And so you're almost like forced to choose, you know, and even when you get into school, it's like, okay, what's your major gonna be? And then what you gonna do with that? And so I know a lot of times people come out of school and they're like, I don't know what I wanna do. Or they will have chosen something, and then it's like, how long am I gonna really do this? How long? But the thing is, like, we can do that, and then we can do the next thing, and we can do so many things. We can be anything and everything. But it's like we're taught to be narrowly focused. Yeah, but we can be so much more than that. And also, like, people ask about their dreams or whatever, and typically people have one dream, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, if I can think about all the different dreams that I've had throughout the years, and then it's like, okay, well, that's done. Okay, well, let me do this, you know. that you can have multiple, like we're so, as you would say, layered. We're so multifaceted. We can do so many things, we can be so many things, and we don't have to be this or that. We can be this and that.
You said so much I love right there. It was one, every time they would like ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like when I turned 16, I came with this great joke that, you know, you can be whatever you want to be when you grow up. All you gotta do is work at Party City. Cause like you could dress up as anything you want right there. But also like the picking a major, I remember I came in as a history major when I went to Longwood, and I was just gung-ho on I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher. But I also knew that I only wanted to do it for like 4 years. And so I was like, oh, so I'm going to do this for 4 years, and then I'll do this with this degree for 4 years, and that with that degree for 4 years. And so like even now, like that one question that they ask you in interviews is like, oh, where do you think you'll be in 5 years? I always never struggle with the answer, but my answer is always like very left. I'm like, oh, well, you know, I think I want to do this for about 5 years, and then, you know, I might take that and spin it and go all the way over here because my degree allows for that, and I feel like I'm talented in that too. So I never felt like you had to choose like one path. And I've always not hated it, but I always had a little pushback on the, oh, you gotta have one thing that you want to do. And I feel like they ask that question before people really get to experience life. And like I'm still feeling who I am at 18, and you talking about, yeah, what do you want to do for your whole life? No, I want to live. But another thought I have on this or that or the either or is the principal at the school I work at now, she does this thing that I had to grow to like because like, so you'll say something and she'll go yes and so I never was really, it wasn't until I started paying attention to like words, and I told y'all I want to actually take words for what they mean, that I was really understanding like the strength in yes and. Because at no point, like I realized that at no point was she ever saying no. It was always yes and we should do this as well. So it was always like a nice build on, but also I always felt empowered in my thought. And I just feel like that's real strong what she does actually. It is like you just empowering everybody at all times, but also like, yeah, but let's make sure we do this too. But it's never a but, it's and. Like this included with this, you don't have to choose.
I think that's why, like, whenever, you know, maybe I'm doing an interview or something and people be like, tell me about yourself.
Right.
And I'm kind of like, well, what you want to know? Like, I don't know. What you want to tell me? Because I feel like, you know, it's so many layers or parts, things that I could share because I'm this and that. Mm-hmm. So, like, how do you even put yourself into, like, a little box to be able to tell somebody about yourself in 2-3 minutes?
Oh man, I remember the first time you interviewed me. I was like nervous to even. I'm like, cause I don't talk to nobody about myself, and I was like, who is this lady want to interview me? And I was just sitting there at your house and just peeling the layers, just breaking them down,
I think that thought that you just made is probably why I feel like I enjoy talking so long form so much. It's because everything usually does have a nice story to it, for me at least. And because I identify as so much, so it's never, this is what I do. I do this and this and this and this, and if I need to do that, I do that. We need somebody to do this, I suddenly know how to do that. It's just it's always this and.
Yeah, I feel like you expanded me a lot in that area too, because you're always like, let me just look it up on YouTube. And so now that's the same thing I do. Like if it's anything need to be fixed, YouTube. Whatever it is, I'm YouTubing it. And then if I can't find it on YouTube, then I'm calling. So I think that's a really good point, because I feel like now as we evolve, we're able to step into more of ourselves. Like we're able to access more, we're able to do more, just having that information right at our fingertips or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's that, and for me, what really helped me drive home this and that was once you say you connected to everything, then you kind of gotta be this and that because you ain't saying you can't be connected to one thing and not the other. So it's like once you have accepted, all right, I'm connected to the source of all that is. Then it's like, well, yeah, I'm this and that because otherwise, what does the sentence sound like?
Yeah, I think when we feel like we gotta choose, we sit ourselves in this box and like lock it when we really have the potential to do so much more and have all that we choose to be. And I feel like that's a lot of what we talk about here, and that really resonate with me is that we have the potential to do everything we want, and there's nothing stopping that outside of us.
And then that's the funny thing when you like really think about it, that the only thing that's stopping us is us.
Right.
And even though we'll point our finger at all of that, but really it's what we think about who we are, what we're capable of, what we have time to do, etc., which is all these constructs that we have created within our own mind. And so thank you, Ronnie. That's really something to think about. This, when we say this or that versus this and that.
Or both and.
Both and, yes. We have the ability to create it all, to be it all, to choose it all, to be as expansive as we would like to be. I hope you guys enjoy that topic for this week, and we look forward to chatting with you again next week. Until then, this is Arvette.
And it's Steven.
Try.
Rock.
Bye, y'all.